A pattern I see so often, and mostly in women, but this can happen in men, is a lack of trusting anyone. And this isn't because you were just broken and now you can't trust anyone. It does come from real betrayal and harm that has been caused in the past. And it leads us to believe we probably can't trust anyone. The reality is a lot of it can come from our own inability to hold a boundary for ourselves and trust what we need first. So when you don't trust anyone or anything, it generally comes from a self-protection space where we want to feel like if we don't trust at all, then we're protecting ourselves. But that puts out this energy around you where you might feel consistent resentment or bitterness or mistrusting every single person, expecting and anticipating that they will hurt you. That's brain patterning and wiring. And that's where the neuroscience of this comes in, is that our brain is predicting that that person will break your trust. And inevitably, at times they will, but that doesn't mean that they're entirely not trustworthy. That just means that we will let each other down. And you will also have those experiences where you let someone down, but that doesn't mean that you're not trustworthy. You can't rebuild trust through other people for that reason, because if you're relying on someone to always be trustworthy, to never let you down, it will just prove that your prediction of them breaking your trust will happen and you will run or you will just write them off. And we don't want that. We still want to have good relationships with people, even if our trust has been broken deeply or we've been hurt deeply by other people. So we have to allow our brain some space to know that if I can trust myself first and my intuition and my boundaries and not just rely on this person to be completely honest and perfect, then we can start to trust outwardly. Our energy shifts, we relax in our body, and we stop bracing so much because our brain stopped predicting that every single person we meet might hurt us or cause us harm or break our trust. And every time you self-abandon, it actually results in you feeling like you can't trust anyone because you aren't trusting yourself. You aren't trusting the need. When your gut says no, but you still say yes to something, and it could be anything. It could be you recognize this person you agreed to go on a date with isn't actually someone that you admire or respect, or maybe they said something in a chat and you ignore it and just say, I'm going to try it anyway. That's self-abandonment on a micro level. Self-abandonment on a macro level is ignoring your needs for a great length of time to serve someone else's purpose in order to receive love or validation. And doing that will ultimately lead you to not trust yourself because you're conditioning your own brain to believe it's your job to forget about what you need and only focus on other people first. And that will ultimately hurt you. So aligning and reminding yourself that my needs matter first is a good step to building trust within yourself and interrupting the pattern in your mind that it's your job to be someone who fixes or overgives or self-abandons in order to receive a relationship or be in a relationship with anyone. That will leave you feeling resentment, frustrated, and setting up expectation that's just not accurate. We have to have grace and space in relationships where people will make missteps or mistakes and hold ourselves in integrity for what our desires, needs, and boundaries are. Trust is not built through promises, not even to yourself. It's built through action, repeated action. That's an integrity with what you say you want. So let's say you tell yourself, I want a healthy and good relationship, but you ultimately date people who don't respond to your text messages, make excuses, or tend to lie and then blame it on you. And you forgive them, but that's again a source of mistrust that you're building, that you're saying it's okay because I'm supposed to just self-abandon and let them do what they want to. And do I start over? And I don't like on again. So you've heard and seen this before. Trust is not built through promises. It's through consistent action and patterns. Just like everyone says, whatever you say, you have to follow through on. And that means somebody can promise that they will be kind or they won't say that unkind thing again. And then inevitably they do. And you just forgive them and say, oh, they were having a hard day or they didn't mean it because they said they didn't. But they're not actually following through on what they agreed to. And if you make agreements with yourself, whether it's you want to sleep more or take better care of your body or finally read the books that you keep buying and piling up everywhere, when you ignore those needs and desires and agreements with yourself, it's micro abandonment. And the macro abandonments show up in moments where you ignore things completely that you committed to. Maybe it's a passion project and you start it, you write down the goals, you say what you're going to do, and then you just stop. Your body and your mind notices because it's not getting the pattern of continuing to move forward step by step and taking that action, trusting this is the path forward. This is why most people end up starting and stopping so many projects, because they're not making the consistent pattern. So it's not about this masculine pushing through and becoming and grinding. It's actually about gently giving your brain reminders that you can trust what you said you were going to do. You have to trust yourself first, and that you trust that you're going to show up to what you desire and need, even if it feels hard or weird or awkward. Because our brain, when we're building that within ourselves, is going to be looking for ways to make us want to stop. The weird and awkward part isn't actually a feeling of everyone else is going to judge me and laugh at me. We might think that, but it's actually our brain telling us that this doesn't feel familiar. So we fill in the gaps with people might judge me, people might laugh at me, and they might, but that doesn't ultimately matter. What matters is that we trust what we're doing. And that's what helps you get over the hump of believing that because it feels awkward or unfamiliar, like me talking on camera on YouTube for, great amounts of time. At first, when I started, I would freeze, I would stop, I would feel like I didn't know what I wanted to say. But as I continue, my brain builds the pattern and the pathways that I can share the knowledge and the wisdom that I have without it feeling awkward, because I've continued to trust that I know what I'm sharing is a passion and purpose that needs to be heard. So remember, whenever you set forward something that you want to do and you desire so much and you know it and you've been dreaming about it, and then you start attempting to do it, don't let the awkward phase and the feelings of unfamiliar get in the way of you actually accomplishing. And it's not about the accomplishment, it's about the beautiful time and the energy and build that you put into it, because you're serving this purpose for you and you're building that trust for you. One that's important is knowing that mistrust dissolves when you stop negotiating with your intuition. You're going to have moments where your intuition shows up. It's that moment where your body tells you this is not okay, and you know that you have to stop something from continuing, or you have to turn different direction. Following that intuition and allowing yourself to follow it isn't just a feeling, it's a real inner wisdom that you have to learn to listen to. Quiet whispers. Sometimes they're shouts, but when you start negotiating and grappling and you have to ask outside yourself for confirmation, am I right? Am I seeing this correctly? That also creates sort of a mistrust of you actually owning and knowing something that might not be right for you. Or on the other side, something that might be completely and amazingly right for you. Opportunities that arise, and instead of mistrusting, like it's not even going to work out, so why try? That's self-sabotage and abandonment too. So we can have both. We can have the intuition of something that's going to work out wonderfully. It could be a new healthy relationship, but we're used to relationships falling apart, and we have patterns of them not working out, or things being deeply unkind later on, and we just go ahead and start sabotaging the other relationship without even realizing it. That can be abandoning a goal that we had of having a healthy relationship. And we have to, again, get through the awkward phase of trusting that maybe this person is truly caring and thoughtful and loving and someone you want to keep around. And this can be a friend or a romantic partner. It's not always just a love relationship. It can be even coworker relationship, having people that you know you can work together with. Maybe you've been burned before in your work, but that mistrust dissolves when you allow your intuition to go forward, and you allow yourself to take action on that intuition rather than questioning it or having to ask everyone around you if you've got this right or if you're seeing it correctly. It's something that we're used to doing and that we're shown it's how we handle things, but in reality, when you start trusting your intuition, you begin to build that trust in yourself that you know what you need, and that truly dissolves that energy of mistrust around you. The goal isn't to just trust everyone with a big blanket of trust. It's to trust yourself first entirely, and then to allow people to show you that they're trustworthy and not write people off so early. To trust yourself that as you build these skills and you continue to move forward, not hustling, not grinding, but just keeping in commitment with yourself and integrity with yourself, that you're doing what you said you desire most, and you keep moving forward, even if it's a little millimeter at a time. Some days I tell myself, I need to paint. And if I don't do it, I do feel that little micro self-abandonment. But even if I spend 10 minutes painting one little part, I followed through on an agreement I had with myself that I know is nothing but positive for me. And those are powerful moments for us to build trust in ourselves and see the fruit of that come out, and the joy and the fulfillment begin to build in our life, which is the whole purpose of learning to trust ourselves, is beginning to feel that steadiness, that safety, and that knowing that we can enjoy and be fulfilled by life, not just constantly chasing something new and maybe that will fill that void. The only way to fill it is by leaning in, filling your needs, and trusting yourself that you know what you want for your life. I'm April Kensington. I'm so delighted to spend this time with you, and I hope you begin to trust yourself.